Guilty is the verdict tonight in the trial of Michael Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray, convicted of involuntary manslaughter in the star's death almost 2.5 years ago. After 6 weeks of hearing evidence, it took the jury just under 9 hours to decide that Murray's action had cost Jackson his life. And here's ABC's Jim Avila in Los Angeles with the latest. Jim?
Bill, the Houston cardiologist brought to Los Angeles at a whopping $150,000 a month to try to put Michael Jackson to sleep, tonight sleeps in the Los Angeles County Jail. Conrad Murray, a friend and personal doctor to one of the most famous men in the world, found guilty of killing his one and only patient. Michael Jackson's parents, 2 of his sisters, 2 of his brothers, rushing to court with high hopes. LaToya tweeting en route, "Verdict is finally in. I'm shaking uncontrollably," promising followers that Michael would be with them in the courtroom, assuring the right verdict. Once inside, the family sat just a few feet away from the stoic Dr. Conrad Murray. The moment's tension broken by a scream from LaToya as the verdict was read.
We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Conrad Robert Murray, guilty of the crime of involuntary manslaughter.
Outside the courtroom, hundreds erupted in shouts of justice. As back inside, prosecutors were asking for Conrad Murray to be handcuffed on the spot.
At this time, Your Honor, the people would ask that the defendant be remanded into custody.
And the judge agreed, ordering Conrad Murray to be handcuffed in the courtroom as a danger to the public.
Dr. Murray is remanded to the custody of the Los Angeles Sheriff with no bail.
And with that, the heart doctor prosecutors say thought he hit the lottery when hired by Jackson was ushered away in handcuffs, stripped of his medical license, now waiting to hear if he'll spend up to 4 years in the California prison system. Sentencing is November 29th.
We're talking about an involuntary manslaughter charge for someone with no criminal record and with no evidence that would suggest he might flee. So this was pretty aggressive for the judge to say, lock him up.
The Jackson family leaving the courthouse to cheers. Joe Jackson saying cryptically, "There's more," and LaToya expressing pleasure at the verdict.
What do you think of the verdict?
Wonderful. Absolutely. Justice was served. Michael was watching over us.
The jury heard 49 witnesses and saw nearly 400 exhibits in all, including Jackson's voice recorded by Conrad Murray's cell phone, like no one outside his inner circle had heard before.
I want to say he's the greatest entertainer in the world.
And while Conrad Murray did not testify, the jury did hear his voice too, talking to police 2 days after Jackson's death, telling them Michael was desperate to sleep and begged him to give him milk, or as it's known in the operating room, propofol.
I agreed at that time that I would switch over to the propofol.
The impact witnesses, paramedics and ER doctors who said Conrad Murray never mentioned propofol to them while they attempted to save Jackson's life. The bodyguard who said Dr. Murray wanted him to hide evidence before calling 911. And the medical experts who said propofol should never be used in a home setting. That the level of propofol in Jackson's body led to one conclusion. Conrad Murray set up a jerry-rigged IV to constantly drip propofol into Michael Jackson's system, killing him.
I think the defense was always facing an uphill battle here because of the number of mistakes that Conrad Murray made and the number of things he did he shouldn't have done.
The jury, transported by vans to a secret location outside Los Angeles and then making their way home, did not respond to any questions yet.
Still good to be done?
In 3 weeks, Dr. Murray will hear his fate, something he may never have imagined just after Michael's death, when he made this YouTube appeal to his patients to stick with him.
I will be fine. I have done all I could do. I told the truth, and I have faith the truth will prevail.
A journey that began as a road to riches, ending with the doctor losing his meal ticket, his medical license, and now his freedom. In Los Angeles, I'm Jim Avila for Nightline.